Micah, who are you? What problems do you solve, and what do you do?
My name is Micah Vu. I've been in sales and finance for the past 8 years. I helped start an outbound sales agency back in 2020 and grew that to about $8.5 million. Led a team of 30 sales reps. Went independent after that. And Glen Coco was one of my clients. Worked with them for 2 years, became the number one sales rep on their platform out of 30,000 reps. Started a sales training community that supports those Glen Coco callers. We're up to 125 paying members. And now I'm head of sales at Glen Coco. That's not
Nice.
public though. That's so when you release that, yeah, that's not public yet. But you could say it. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So, interesting journey. What was broken in the sales industry that you saw that's made you be able to be so successful?
What's been broken in the sales industry? Well, I think it's just the idea that after COVID, a lot of companies just had to get scrappier, right? So you heard about the layoffs, huge layoffs over, 2021, 2022, 2023. But at the end of the day, these companies still need to talk to customers. They still need to close deals. They still need to drive revenue. So what we saw was just sort of this mass shift, market shift to outsource the sales function and specifically the top of funnel sales function. So I don't want to be insensitive, but I know 2020 was tough for a lot of folks. 2020 was a great year for us. Like during that sort of recession, we did really really well because all these companies came to us and said, "Hey, can you get us in front of more customers?" And so that's what we did. We got them in front of more customers. We kind of created awareness, educated, these future customers on what solutions were available in the market. And then we drove interest, and put them in front of these companies to, end up closing. And mostly in the B2B space. So whether that was cybersecurity, IT based services, um, unified communication. So business communication was a huge segment for us. And, that trend is still continuing. And here at Glen Coco, we've done it for NASCAR teams, like advertising sponsorships, data companies, fintech, health tech. I mean, you name it.
Nice. Okay. And it's all cold calling, right? Like for anyone that doesn't know, all cold calling.
Mostly cold calling. It's probably like 99%. You start asking me about LinkedIn DMs and cold email. We should probably just shut the podcast off right now. My
Yeah.
email game is pretty much non-existent. But it's like I specced out into the cold calling skill set and just like maxed out that skill tree. So yeah, cold calling and cold calling is unique in that it's one of the most scalable ways to build trust and awareness with your ideal customers. Um,
Mhm.
the rate at which information is transferred over a cold call is something like 200 times that of an email or a DM or a text, right? So I think the only way you transfer more energy, belief, and kind of sell yourself is maybe like a trade show or maybe knocking doors, but then you have to
Mhm.
be physically there, right? And
Yeah.
you can only interface with so many people at the same time. Maybe selling from
Mhm.
the stage if if you got some speaking chops, but if not, you got to pick up the phone. There's technology that enables you to make 1,000, 2,000 dials a day and talk to 50, 60, 70 people on average, with the right tooling, with the right data. So yeah, it's just the fastest way to cut through the noise. There's so much digital kind of white noise out there. So how do you cut through and actually connect with your prospects? Cold calling is has been very fruitful for that.
I agree. Why do you think loads of people don't do it? Why do you think everyone opts for email, LinkedIn?
It's a pain in the ass. It's hard. It's all mental. Like it's 90% of it is mental. Um, and then, in that last 10%, 90% of that is mental. So it's tough. And if I was just talking with a mentor of mine earlier today, and we were talking about practice. I was like, practice, practice, practice. That's always been my philosophy. He's like, well, that's kind of true. Practicing the wrong thing practice is not perfect. Practice is permanent. So if you're practicing the wrong things, then you end up just practicing bad habits. And so I was like, okay, that's a really good point. And so I was just fortunate enough to be practicing from mentors who knew exactly what they were doing and
Mm.
knew how to be effective in this, style of sales, this channel of sales, which is cold calling. So practicing the right thing is just as important as making sure you practice and do the reps over and over and over again.
Okay, but did you always get it right?
Hell no. Hell no. But I never gave up. I think that's probably it's so cliche. It's probably overplayed, but you just don't give up. You just keep doing the thing over and over and over again. And just like any other, you know, anything that you do in life is going to have good, bad, and ugly, especially in your career, especially in sales, any style of sales, any industry that you're working in. There's always something. Like, I've got guys in the life insurance space that are ripping 60, 70, 80, 100K a month, just selling on the phones. And you're like, "Oh wow, 100K, that's a lot." But then you realize they have, 50K in chargebacks, and
Hmm.
then 3 months later another 25% churn, but they've already spent their money on the Porsche. And then now they're, the curse of the salesman is you make too much money, but no one taught you how to keep it because you're so young. And then all of a sudden, you've got to pay back 30 grand, and then this next month is just a payback month, and you got to pay for it. So there's always ugly things in every gig. But your ability to stomach it and to work past it and to stay cool, calm, and collected under pressure is what's going to build your character over time. And so that's what I see in cold calling. There are uglies, like especially on, like, I'm with the Glen Coco platform. It's basically the Uber for sales, where reps can sign on with Glen Coco on a contract basis, work their own hours, and then on the flip side, businesses are looking for sales qualified meetings, and they'll pay out $400, $500, $600, $1,000, just to sit down with the prospect. There's uglies in that too. Like, so one of them is like, your deal doesn't qualify. You thought it was going to qualify, it didn't qualify. You feel like you did all the things right, you didn't. And then how do you respond to that? Can you do that? Can you do it again? Can you
Mm.
do it again? Okay, it happens 10 more times. Can you still stay in the game? And so I
Yeah.
think my sort of, superpower to kind of land the plane here is I just never gave up. I mean, like, I just experienced it all. Luckily, I think having a team that was also in the trenches with me, having a good leaders was also a huge advantage to help push past that. But you just keep going, and you think about it, just like when you come into like the frustration of whatever it is in the role, the doubt, the fear, the uncertainty, and you're face to face with it. Like, can you stay lucid enough to say, if I can just get past this, then I will be 10 times the person that I am today. I will become the person I was destined to become. And if you can really visualize that and really understand that fire, that, you know, just experience makes you a better person. Again, maybe it's cliche, maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe someone needs to hear this. But if you can get through that, you can do anything. You can do anything. So if you can master the skill set of cold calling, like truly master it, know that, like, when I pick up the phone, I know I'm closing a deal. I have a deep rooted confidence, and that came from practicing the right things over and over and over again for years, making
Hmm.
the dials, making the calls, having the conversations. I have the confidence that I will always close a deal. And then whether I go broke tomorrow, like, anything can happen in life, right? Medical bill wipes me out, investment, stock market goes down. I know I can pick up the phone. I know I can sell. I know there's always going to be a company looking for more customers. And I always know that I can be the one to bring those customers in and get paid to do that. So that deep rooted confidence came from this skill set of cold calling.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Simply put, like, just keep going. But so, what's something that a lot of people overcomplicate or get wrong about cold calling that you strongly disagree with?
That there's one way to do it, that there's the pinnacle of all methodologies, or style of selling, or you know, my it's my way or the highway, right? And screw everyone else. I think in the the cold calling ecosystem is actually kind of weird. You get a lot of, because you got to think cold callers, you got to be kind of crazy to be a career cold caller and just have that as such a strong part of your identity and skill set. And eventually, you kind of add on to that. But there's a lot of gurus in our space that are like, don't do it that way, do it my way, do this, do that. Um, it's it's a lot about how you say it more than what you say,
Hmm.
much more than people realize. So I can take, hey John, this is a cold call. Do you want to hang up or give me 30 seconds? I can take that and make it work, because again, it's all about the tonality. Um, but there are fundamental things about human communication that are the foundation for good cold calling success. And then there's like styles and methodologies like kind of baked on top of that. But I think people get too gummed up on like, you have to do it this way. I'm
Hmm.
personally not married to any methodology. I've tried out quite a few of them. I found out what really, really works for me, but not only for me, what works for other reps. And I think Remote Sales Nation, our sales training community, is evidence of that. We have dozens and dozens of members who are adopting this exact style, this exact framework, and they're doing really well. So I think I'd like to say I've cracked the code, but it's cracked here in 2025. That could
Yeah.
change in 2026, 2027, 2028. So as soon as I see someone doing something that's converting better, and I know my numbers, right? It's a like you got to know your numbers as a professional. I know my numbers. But as soon as I start seeing someone like crushing it in the same verticals that I'm playing in the same like outbound motions that we're kind of running here, and converting higher, I'm taking whatever they're doing.
That
I
makes
don't care about methodology. I care about what works, and I care about results. So I would say the biggest thing that people miss is, um, the don't get caught up on what's working, today, or what you believe works today.
sense. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. And then what about from the lens of the business owner? So on the lead generation industry, what's something that most business owners get wrong?
When you're saying business owners, are you talking like agencies themselves, or like businesses that have like products and services?
Yeah, products and services, not the salespeople.
I think a lot of people think cold calling's dead. It's a good thing that people think it's dead, because that means, let's drive all of the journeymen away. Let's get all the amateurs out, so that way we can just continue to dominate the market. I think that's really it. I think people just like don't know how to do it. It is a relatively tough nut to crack. It can be, but if you can crack the code, it works, and it works big time. I mean, the numbers, I could pull up like the case studies we've had at Glen Coco. I've could pull up the case studies we've had at my last agency. I've personally called on behalf of Google Cloud, Zoom, Ring Central, very large IT enterprises like HCL Technologies, Infosys, obviously NASCAR. And so all across all these verticals, we're generating huge amounts of pipeline and closing deals that start from a cold call.
Yeah.
And it works, but a lot of people have been burned. I think a lot of people have been burned because they try to do it internally and they didn't have the right chops for it. But then they've
Mm.
also tried to outsource it. And a lot of those agencies, there's a lot of bad actors even in the agency world. We're trying to unify all of them, under the Glen Coco umbrella. But um, a lot of them also aren't like massively successful, and then so people get burned by some offshore shop, and then that's it for them. They're like, cold calling completely dead. I don't want to deal with it. So I think our message is, we do it right the first time, and if you haven't done it right the first time with us, then um, you know give cold calling another shot here, and we'll sing for our supper. I'll say that much.
Yeah, cool. Um, I've got a quick fire round. Do you have time to do that?
Um,
It's
okay,
four.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's four questions. So
Okay,
yeah, quick fire round off
hit
the top
me.
of your head. and then we'll wrap up. So,
Okay.
uh, book that's changed how you think.
Man's Search for Meaning.
Okay.
And that's
Uh,
by oh, it's gonna kill me. It's right here. Uh, Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl. Man's
okay.
Search for Meaning.
Favorite sales tool.
Glen Coco.
Yeah. Underrated go-to-market channel.
YouTube.
Okay. Uh,
Oh
founder
wait,
or
wait. Go to
sales.
market channel like where to sell.
Yeah, yeah. YouTube works.
YouTube is unbelievably underrated, but you need to know the algorithm. You need to know we have guys on our team that they have a process called edge finding. It's winner take all in YouTube. So we have a team that will look for these pockets of demand, really high demand, but not enough supply. If you think about the
Mhm.
viewer to creator ratio on YouTube, it's very, very heavy on the user side. So there's so much demand on this channel, but it's winner take all. So once you're in there, you need to put out really, really good stuff and own that vertical. We're just starting to own the cold calling vertical. I don't know if you've noticed that, but we're going to
Yeah.
own that. And we like I could show you our team's calendar, just book solid for weeks out because businesses and sales reps and customers are coming in and YouTube, it's going to be paying us for years. It's going to be paying us for years. That video, my first video ever went viral, and I don't know anything about YouTube. I just work with guys who know YouTube. Went viral, and that's going to pay us for years coming. So it's underrated right now. And I've talked with a lot of my business partners about this, and they're like, "Send me your guys. Just send me your guys. I need this right now. Whatever you're saying, I need it." They know. They know.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Uh, and just a quick one on that. Did you know that video that went viral was going to hit?
Nope. Didn't
Okay.
think it was gonna hit. Didn't think it was gonna. I thought a different one was gonna hit, where I did like a challenge, made like $6,000 in a day. I thought that was gonna hit because to me that was a much harder feat,
Yeah.
but it was a completely different video that hit. So what do I know? Just work with guys who know.
Yeah. Fun. Founder or sales leader you really admire.
Founder or sales leader I really admire. Um, I draw a lot from Hermosi. I like how widespread and practical his stuff is. He
Mhm.
reaches a really broad audience. Personally, I've made a lot of money using Oren Claff stuff. So pitch anything and flip the script. And I've worked personally with him, and I weave a lot of his methodology into my selling style.
Cool. Perfect. Well, Micah, that's the pod. Where should people connect with you, or where should they reach out, or what should they check out?
Yeah, reach out to me on LinkedIn, Micah Vu, Micah. Last name Vu, V as in Victor, U. And then YouTube on Glen Coco, GlenCoco. Tons of free value there. And if you want to see everything that we do day in and day out, that YouTube channel is a great place to start. There's a bunch of like lead magnets in there as well. So if you want to see some of our documentation, how we set up clients and whatnot, our cold call framework and scripting, all that's for free on our YouTube channel. And we give away the information for free, sell the implementation. So if you're ready to, hop into, the fractional sales world, check us out at skool.com/RSN, SKOOL And then Glen Coco, if you're a business looking to drive some pipeline. But work with Cormac because Cormac's partnered with us as one of our agencies. So he'll take care of you. That's what I would say.
Perfect. All right. Thanks for coming on.
All right,
Cheers, Micah.
Cormac. Appreciate it. See ya.